What up? What up? What's cracking? Big dose. Welcome back to the HQ, man. I hope this shit is actually not on backwards. Can you read this? Is this straightforward to you or is this fucking backwards? I'm going to be so angry if it is. We're talking week 7 fantasy football waiver wire targets. The top guys. This is a brief overview of how I see the waiver wire going. Can y'all read this or is it backwards? Is it backwards? Hit that thumbs up button, by the way. Can you see this? Please answer me, somebody. Rude. What up, Dylan? What up, Davin? What up, Archimedes? Yeah. Word. Well, go do that. It says Pen Smoke. If you text Big Dogs BDGE to this number, 646-859-6340, I will be answering your questions via text message each and every episode of the week. So, if you want a chance to get your question answered on the show live or in the episodes upcoming, make sure you text BDGE to this number. Y'all feel me? Full breakdown will be on my Patreon, patreon.com/BDGE. Are we still here? Did we just disconnect? No, we're straight. Cool. Can you all still hear me? Cool. All right. Looks like the numbers are going down. No, we're straight. Okay, cool. So we're going to break it down, as always, the top guys at each position. If you want the most in-depth, you hit up Patreon, patreon.com/BDGE, where you will get the exclusive waiver wire article. Let's start off with the quarterbacks, and we have one coming off of a bye, and that is Joshua Allen. Make sure you text this number, BDGE, to this number, and hit me with any of your sit starts, trade questions, or waiver wire questions on here. I will answer a handful of them at the end of this episode as well throughout the week on my other episodes. Josh Allen, 51% owned. They come off their bye with a 4-1 record, and he's been very, very, very consistent, Josh Allen has. He had the one bad game against the Patriots, but right now, their schedule coming off of the bye: Miami, Philadelphia, Washington, at Cleveland, at Miami. Go and get your mans. Josh Allen is the guy you need to be streaming for the next 5 weeks. Set it and forget it. Jacoby Brissett is another decent pickup option. I know a lot of people are going to be a little bit down on him coming off of his down week last week. And we're still good? Yeah, cool. All right. Coming off of his down week. But Kansas City Chiefs pass defense is actually pretty tough when they're playing in Arrowhead. And it was the reason I was a little bit nervous about Will Fuller this week. Is the reason I was a little bit nervous about DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, he has a ton of reasons to be nervous about right now. But the Colts have a home game against Houston in week 7. That is a team currently allowing the 8th most fantasy points to the quarterback position. They've allowed 300-plus yards and or multiple scores in 4 of 6 games so far, including a combined 7 touchdowns to the last 2 quarterbacks they've faced. They are 22nd per PFF in terms of coverage ranking. If you are on YouTube right now, all I ask is that you hit me with that thumbs up button. If you enjoy the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. And text BDGE to 646-859-6340. 646-859-6340. And I will be answering some of y'all's questions via text message live on the show as well as later in the show. We also got to talk about these Jets. The Jets. This is just a new team. They play with just extra swagger when Darnold is back on the field. Not that anyone needed to tell you that they were going to fucking suck with Luke Falk on the team. Like, I feel like people are so extra on Twitter and just in fantasy football, like just bagging on the Jets. Like, what do you expect them to do when they? I mean, terrible management by the front office thinking that Luke Falk was an NFL caliber quarterback. He couldn't lead them to like a first down, let alone a fucking touchdown. Obviously, that was going to happen to the Jets. But every single one of the players was a buy low, and there's a reason that Robbie Anderson had been on my buy low list for like the last 3 consecutive weeks. They get a very tough matchup coming into week 7, Darnold, as they play the Patriots. So you're probably not going to want to play him. But this first game back for Mono, he looked fantastic. Threw for 338 yards, 2 touchdowns, 23 of 32 passing, including that beautiful 90-plus yard touchdown to your boy Spaghetti Anderson. So they play the Pats this week. Obviously, he's not someone that you'd want to start in your lineup. We'll have Gilmore probably shadowing Robbie Anderson, and we'll just have a very tough matchup for Darnold just in general. Then they travel to Jacksonville, who obviously aren't nearly the same defense that they've been in previous years, and Jalen Ramsey, who knows when he's going to be coming back. But after that, just like Josh Allen, this Jets team finally gets to take advantage of that AFC East schedule. They play Miami, New York Giants, Washington, Oakland, Cincinnati, Miami, Baltimore. Like, you can't put on paper a better schedule over the next 7 weeks than what Sam Darnold and Spaghetti Anderson have together after, obviously, they play the Patriots and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's move on to the wide receiver since we're already talking about Spaghetti Anderson. He is my number one waiver wire pickup on the week. He is 60% owned. Everyone I talk about in these videos is at 60% owned or less in Yahoo leagues. You can go find that out just on yahoo.com. He is 60% owned, which means he's available in 40% of leagues. Monster day. 8 targets, 5 catches, 125 yards, and a touchdown. That is 25% of the targets that Sam Darnold had thrown on Sunday. It was against an above-average Dallas Cowboys secondary. Obviously, Byron Jones went down with an injury, and the team just doesn't play as well when they have all these other injuries, Mark Cooper and the 2 tackles on the line and stuff. So it's not a full-strength Dallas team, but this is by no means a shitty secondary in Dallas. And as mentioned above, they get a tough matchup in New England. So Spaghetti Anderson, I'm not someone I'm throwing right into my starting lineup because he's probably going to get shadowed by Stephon Gilmore next week. But again, Miami, New York, Washington, Oakland, Cincinnati, Miami, Baltimore. And we look back at last year, right, when Darnold and Robbie Anderson started connecting on a crazy level over the last month of the season when Darnold started breaking out. Their chemistry was very, 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 very good, right? They were flowing like tequila flows here Saturday nights at the HQ. Darnold, Robbie Anderson, tequila, headquarters. It's a fucking match made in heaven over here. From weeks 14 through 17 last year in 2018, Anderson saw a 31% target share over those last 4 weeks when Darnold had the highest QBR of all quarterbacks in the NFL that last month of the season. Robbie Anderson had a 31% target share, a 41% air yard market share. And in the 2 games that they've played so far this year, weeks 1 and 6 together, Anderson, who also came into week 1 less than 100%, don't forget that with that calf strain, he has seen 22% of the targets and 44% of the team's air yards. This is a real thing, and it's about to become the most real. Spaghetti Anderson is a guy I would throw 10 to 20% of my fab budget on, and yes, I would use my number one waiver wire on him because that schedule gets ridiculous. Jameson Crowder, another guy you can pick up. Obviously, he's been a monster when Sam Darnold's in the lineup. Not a great standard guy, right? Because he doesn't eclipse 100 yards. He doesn't get in the end zone, but he catches a ton of balls, gets a ton of targets. Not something I'm going to go crazy on because, he'll probably start having his 5 for 50 days when the team struggles to pass the ball. So if you're in a PPR league, obviously Crowder looks to be a good pickup. He's unowned in 58% of leagues. The other guy I absolutely love on this list, though, and I think I'm probably going to talk about him in the trade targets video with Noah tomorrow. If you want to watch us do that live, make sure you're following us on Twitch, twitch.tv/BigDogsFantasy. So DK Metcalf. DK motherfucking Metcalf. Seattle Seahawks, 54% owned. Just another day at the office for the Seahawks. Wide receiver 2 yesterday on Sunday. Caught 4 of 5 targets for 69 yards, which has given him at least 67 yards and or a touchdown in 5 of 6 games this year. Now, he only has a 16% target share. Could use a little boost there, but he leads the team. Surprisingly, he leads the team in air yards. 27% of the market share has gone to DK Metcalf in terms of air yards. That is above Tyler Lockett. And those air yards are coming from the league's front runner for the MVP, Russell Wilson. So where there lacks volume, it is more than made up for in efficiency. Metcalf is currently tied for the eighth most red zone targets in the NFL with 12 among wide receivers this year. Tied for first in end zone targets with Thielen and Galladay. Galladay will probably sit atop the throne after Monday Night Football tonight. But he is tied for first in end zone targets with 7. He only has 2 touchdowns. So the end zone looks haven't translated as well as the air yards have. He currently sits in 3rd in the NFL with 3 catches of 40-plus yards. But why I think the end zone looks will either even boost up further in volume or start converting a little bit better is the fact that Will Disley probably ruptured his Achilles and will be gone for the entirety of the 2019 season. Now, while Metcalf is, above atop those leaderboards in terms of end zone targets and red zone targets and air yards and things like that, Will Disley leads all tight ends in the NFL right now with 5 end zone targets himself, 4 total touchdowns. So it's hard to imagine, it seems like Russell Wilson's clearly picking a guy. He likes those big targets, clearly by the fact that he's throwing to DK Metcalf and Will Disley in the end zone so often. a lot of those targets that Will Disley got that have converted into touchdowns will probably start going more towards DK Metcalf. Not all of them. I think it's going to be a boost for Lockett. I think it's going to be a boost for DK Metcalf. You saw Jerron Brown even get a little bit involved. So they're mixing it up. They're making a nice little margarita cocktail over there in Seattle. But Russell Wilson is just fucking playing unbelievable lights out football right now. DK Metcalf is getting air yards. He's getting end zone targets from Russell Wilson. So I think we're about to see a big breakout for Metcalf over the next, month of the season. They get to play at home against Baltimore, whose secondary has been fucking tragic. We'll probably have Marlon Humphrey shadow Tyler Lockett, like we saw him shut down Boyd, then Juju, then Hopkins, and whoever else the weeks before that. So Marlon Humphrey probably on Tyler Lockett, which means DK Metcalf will get the very easy matchups, and then they play Atlanta, and then they play at home against Tampa Bay. So he is a legit flex play, if not low-end wide receiver too. I think for the next 3 weeks, I would probably throw about 10 to 12, maybe even 15-ish, depending on how deep your league is or how much fab budget you got to throw around. So I love Robbie Anderson. I love DK Metcalf. And I won't go through all of the other wide receivers on this list. If you want the entire breakdown, the exclusive waiver wire article, again, that's only on Patreon. Patreon.com/BDGE. You'll get the waiver wire article. You will get a private live stream every Saturday, which I do end up putting on YouTube afterwards. But you could personally ask me your sit-start questions throughout the live stream. If you are a patron, you will get, I forget what else. Oh, yeah, I forget every single time I talk about it. So I literally, right behind the camera, I stuck same shit I stuck this double-sided tape. By the way, if any of you guys, this is one of the best fucking inventions of all time, this double-sided tape. I don't know, it's probably fucking very easy to find on Amazon, but it's really good. It works really well, and literally everything hanging on my wall is just double-sided tape stuck onto it. Some things are a little too heavy, and throughout the night, randomly I'll hear shit fall off, and I'm like, double-sided tape, not what you were meant for. Don't put things that are 58 pounds or above with flimsy-ass double-sided tape. But the piece of paper that tells you what you get with Patreon is up there using double-sided tape. Waiver wire article, my weekly rankings, which are not available anywhere else, private live stream, and then a forum community in which myself, Snacks, Animal, and Noah will be answering all your sit-start questions throughout the week. So patreon.com/BDGE. In terms of running backs, man, I know a lot of y'all are going to go off about Darrell Henderson. But at the end of the day, he's getting absolutely no play if Todd Gurley is back on the field. He has a thigh bruise, which is not necessarily a long-term concern. I mean, we kind of penciled in Gurley to miss some time this year. Is it related to the arthritis? I have no fucking idea. Probably in some sense it's a compensation injury, but I don't really know. But he misses this week. Maybe he'll be back next week. Regardless, Malcolm Brown out-snapped Darrell Henderson. I believe it was, let me see, I have all the numbers down here somewhere. It was 37-16 or something like that. He had 65% of the snaps. Now, Brown started the game off really, 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 really hot. Malcolm Brown, we're referring to. He got 5 carries on the first drive, and they went for 10 yards, 9 yards, 7 yards, 5 yards. He was rolling. Darrell Henderson did not get onto the field until midway through the second quarter. His first run, which was actually his second carry the entire year. He hasn't had a carry since week 1 of this year. He busts off a nice-ass 22-yard run, follows it up the next play with a 15-yard run. He ended up with 39 yards on 6 carries. He caught 1 of 2 targets. Malcolm Brown didn't see any of the targets, but Malcolm Brown did get stuff on the 1-yard line 2 separate times. So it seems like this is definitely going to be a committee, whereas we had literally Ian Rappaport, I don't think he's ever been fucking right on a report that he puts out for fantasy football related. But he said Malcolm Brown was going to be featured. That stopped being a thing midway through the second quarter. They split time, and I think what we're going to see is snaps being split between Brown and Henderson, probably in favor of Brown a little bit, maybe 55 to 60% in favor of Brown, but Henderson will probably be used in the passing game a little bit more, and Brown will be used on the goal line. Obviously, given his size and given Henderson's explosion, that is probably the way that they're going to mix things up here. Overall, though, this offensive line has been terrible, right? And I tweeted this out earlier today. If you're not following me on Twitter, make sure you do that. At Nick_BDGE. Per PFF, the only offensive line that has graded out worse than the Rams in pass blocking is the Dolphins. So they are 31st in pass blocking per PFF grades. They're also 25th in run blocking. So whereas they have been an elite group of run blockers for the last 2 years prior to 2019, that is the opposite. And we're seeing it come to fruition in the way they're playing and the way their offense is moving, or lack thereof moving, because they're not getting a lot of sustained drives. Jared Goff has looked terrible. He's under pressure every single play. So the main point I'm getting at is I'm not about to go crazy about Darrell Henderson. I think the same people that like really keep going nuts about Ronald Jones every week will probably be the people that try to pick up Darrell Henderson. It's like fucking playing whack-a-mole. You try to get the back who had like 30% of the snaps and you think he's talented. So you're going to fucking put your chips on an explosion week and it ain't going to happen. And then as soon as you drop him, he has an explosion week. Anyways, I'm going to stay away. I'm not going to put a lot of fab on Darrell Henderson because one, Todd Gurley probably will be back in a week or two. Two, Malcolm Brown is still very much the goal line back here. And if we look at what Gurley's done this year, Gurley's been okay as a fantasy option, right, in the games that he's played, but literally only because he is capitalizing on his goal line touches. So if Brown has the one part in which we've seen valuable fantasy points come from Gurley, then that's really all there is to it, right? Brown's going to be the guy that gets those. But for right now, I would say Brown is probably like a flex play going forward. And this is assuming Gurley misses time. And Henderson is not someone I want to put in my lineup. He absolutely can, if he plays the way he did on Sunday, earn a little bit more play time. But this is just me saying, let's calm the horses a little bit on Darrell Henderson because I know people are going to go nuts about him. Anyone who liked him in college, as soon as they saw the 22-yard run, probably fucking needed a new pair of shorts. Who else we got? The rest of the guys are pretty much just like handcuffs. Again, if you own Zeke, Tony Pollard, Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison. James Conner keeps getting banged up. So, I don't really like Benny Snell, and we're on a third-string quarterback at this point. So it's like, even if James Conner ends up missing time with the thigh or the ankle or whatever the fuck he's dealing with now and will be dealing with in a week or two, I'm not that confident in Benny Snell being anything more than like a top 35 running back. You know what I'm saying? So not in love with him. Jalen Samuels is probably going to be out for a month or so. If you own Alvin Kamara, Latavius Murray is 53% unowned. Chase Edmonds, of course, is the other guy that a lot of people are going to get excited about. But at the end of the day, guys, they just played Atlanta and Cincinnati. Like, of course, you better be fucking going off when you're playing those teams. David Johnson came into the game a little banged up with the lower back issue or whatnot. Didn't seem to be a problem for him. He played on like 75% of the snaps. I'm already thinking about the weekend. And saw 20 opportunities. So it's still very much David Johnson's backfield. Chase Edmonds will probably go back to seeing like 5-6 touches next week, and then everyone will be like, fuck, he's just a handcuff again. Again, Atlanta, Cincinnati. If you are not producing at a high level against them, then you ain't shit, So get Chase Edmonds if you own David Johnson, along with all those other guys. And, of course, I'm going to leave a couple guys off this list that you will find on patreon.com/BDGE. Also, hit me with your trade questions, your sit-start questions, your waiver wire questions at this phone number. Text BDGE to 646-859-6340. I tell you what, Big Dog's marketing is living in fucking 3019. What year are we in right now? Are we in 2020? Or we're in 2019 still? We're marketing in 3019 though. You know what I'm saying? All right, so y'all, if you're in here right now, I already talked about Crowder, my guy. If you're in here right now, we got 389 people in here and only 89 thumbs up. I find that massively disrespectful. My perspective is disrespectful. Can we get some more thumbs up, please? Look at Snacks and his girlfriend at a wedding this weekend. Look at him. This is the first time I've ever seen him actually look nice. Good for him. Good for you, Snacks, if you're watching. No shot he's watching. So here's where we're at right now. Here's where we're at. I think that was all where we're at. I totally forgot to fucking I forgot to add to my defensive streaming thread this week. Wow, we already got 77 new subs. That's what's up. I'm going to keep you guys informed on the text message stuff. That's dope. Tight ends, there's not a lot to love on the wire. I like Dawson Knox, man. I like Dawson Knox. This kid's super athletic, 4.64 speed, which is really fast for tight end. We've seen him make a lot of good plays after the catch, which is what you look for in a breakout tight end candidate. We've seen his snap percentage rise in 4 consecutive weeks. 54%, 56%, 65%, 72%. He is slowly creeping into that every down tight end category. And like I said with Josh Allen, Miami, Philadelphia, Washington, Cleveland, Miami. The next 5 weeks, wouldn't be surprised if Dawson Knox has a couple monster games over the next month and a half. I'm a fan of him. I love his game. He didn't produce much at a college level, which is why we don't really know much about him. But they drafted him early, and clearly they want to use him. They're starting to integrate him into the lineup. If he can get those targets, man, he is going to produce and turn them into some fantasy gold. And I'm not really about to mention Darren Fells. I'm I'm sure he'll go fucking 1 for 9 next week, even though he is kind of intriguing. Former pro basketball player. I know we all love that in fantasy football. And seeing as he is more involved in this offense than DeAndre Hopkins is, like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck is going on in Houston? Why is DeAndre Hopkins like fourth fiddle? It's literally like Will Fuller, Carlos Hyde, Darren Fells. Let's get fucking Jordan Akins involved. He's only like DeAndre Hopkins, basically the 7th target if Kenny Stills is healthy too. Dookie J can get involved. Like Bill O'Brien's like, I want to get out there and fucking handle some carries ahead of. We don't want to throw the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. He didn't fucking help himself by dropping a touchdown and then fucking making an interception on the next whatever. Anyways, clearly I'm hurt and emotional about DeAndre Hopkins, even though we pulled out a big win in the E-Town get down, despite DeAndre Hopkins' mediocre ass. Let's talk some defenses, I guess, real quick. Buffalo Bills, they don't actually qualify for this list because they're 65% owned, but if they're available in your league, holy shit. They get Miami at home, coming off a bye, 16.5-point favorites. The Buffalo Bills are about to put on a vintage 2019 Patriots fantasy performance. Can it be a vintage 2019 performance? I mean, the Patriots have done it. Was technically in the past. Is anything in the I'm going to look up what the word vintage even means, like by definition. The year or place in which wine, especially wine of high quality, was produced. What kind of fucking bullshit is that? It only has to do with wine? That's not right. An item should be at least 100 years old to be defined as an antique. Yeah. All right. Well, 2019 vintage Patriots, they were started on October 14th, 2019, and are officially dead on October 4th, 2019. So we'll just say the Bills are going to be really fucking good this week. And they also, like I said, that schedule that they have is ridiculous. So if you can grab the Bills off the waiver wire, you're going to have a nice streamer for probably the next 5 consecutive weeks. I like low-key the Philadelphia Eagles defensive. I'll smile for you. Philadelphia Eagles are interesting to me. 55% owned. Now, they're actually, I know my formula for picking up defensive streamers, you want teams that are going to win their game, obviously. So you want favorites. You want teams playing at home. You want teams with a low over-under. Or if it's a high over-under, you want to make sure that they are big favorites. The Eagles basically don't hit any of these fucking criteria. They're playing Dallas. They're playing in Dallas as 2-point underdogs. However, I think the line will change quickly because we're going to see a big mismatch depending on the health of the Cowboys, right? Dallas could be without Amari Cooper, Tyrone Smith, La'el Collins, Byron Jones. Philly's secondary is obviously trash. We know that. But their front seven is ferocious, and it is going to be a monster mismatch if the Cowboys are without both of those tackles. So I could see a lot of pressure up Dak's face. I could see some strip sacks. I could see stuff like that. So monitor the line throughout the week. If you are on Patreon, I will be monitoring it for you. Obviously, go sign up on patreon.com/BDGE. Text BDGE to 646-859-6340, 646-859-6340, 646-859-6340. With your sit start, waiver wire, whatever. Green Bay is another good pickup. Depending on how they do tonight, they'll be at home. I love when teams play consecutive games at home. I feel like they really get a good mojo going. Green Bay will play Oakland next week at home, almost touchdown favorites. So some decent streaming options. And I don't have anyone from the Monday Night Football games on this list because obviously I want to take away analysis from the game before I throw them out there. But some possible waiver wire pickups following Monday Night Football. Matthew Stafford, 59% owned. Ty Johnson, 1% owned. TJ Hawkinson, 64% owned. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is 66% owned right now. Geronimo Allison, 30% owned. Jamal Williams, 14% owned. Most of those guys really wouldn't be good waiver wire pickups unless there was an injury ahead of them. We'll have Devontae Adams. I don't know. It seems like he might be out for a little bit longer the way he's describing that he's kind of still in pain. He's been on the side in street clothes for the practices, so he's not really even getting in limited practices. Wouldn't be surprised if MVS connects with Aaron Rodgers tonight on a deep pass, and everyone goes nuts about how MVS is like the fucking real MVP or the real MVS, whatever you want to fucking call it. I still like TJ Hawkinson a lot. I think he's just going to keep going under the wire. I know he had a couple of those dud games. He had that monster game week 1, a couple dud games after that, but he dropped a few touchdowns, which is unlike him because he has very good hands. If he caught a couple of those, I think we'd be looking at him in different light. So he's probably pretty well available in a lot of leagues. And that's all we got for the Monday Night Football game. I think that's all we got for the waiver wire for y'all this week. Again, if you enjoyed the video, make sure that you hit the thumbs up button because we got like 300 more people in here than thumbs up button in here, which is highly, highly disrespectful. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Join us on Patreon because we do the private live stream just like this, except it's only me answering y'all's questions. Patreon.com/BDGE. And I'm going to go over to the text message platform right now. Let me see if I can find it. What is this thing called? It's a new marketing platform that we're fucking diving into. Oh, if you guys missed today's vlog, I put out a vlog this morning too. Haven't done one of those in like a month. So go check that out. That'll literally just be on my channel. If you go to playlists, you go to vlogs, you can find all my vlogs, blah, 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 blah. So go check out the vlog, but let's talk about some text message nonsense. How do I even fucking read this stuff? I don't know how to work this platform, guys, so you're going to have to give me a minute. I've never used it before. You know, marketers are about to absolutely fucking ruin cell phones for you guys. I feel really bad. If you guys subscribed already to the list, I'm assuming you texted BDGE, then you got a follow-up email like saying thank you for signing up for the list or whatever. Then did you hit me back with a question or something? I'm such a fraud. What did I say? Great Q? I'm just talking to myself, so don't mind me. If you don't want to stay around for this shit, I totally understand because I don't know what the fuck's going on. Messages, group messages, send messages. Oh, there's the inbox. Oh, hang. Okay, let's check it out. I guess I can't. Oh, this is crazy because. Okay, so I don't have your names. I only have the numbers, but I don't obviously want to announce your numbers right now live on national television. But whoever said nice haircut, thank you. Is Adrian Peterson an RB2 going forward, or was it just a lucky week because of matchups? Devin Singletary, question mark. Tyler Lockett, question mark. I'm not really sure what the questions are for those. Here's how we're going to do this. What up, though? I'm going to answer you back real quick. So whoever texted me, I just got your text message. So Adrian Peterson, absolutely not. I want basically no part of what the fuck is happening in that Redskins backfield because they were playing against the Dolphins. So this will be like one of the very, very few games in which they will have game script in their favor and Adrian Peterson in his favorable game script. So no. Devin Singletary, is he bike yet? I think he's going to insert himself. It sucks because he was starting to get a lot of momentum as like the guy that we should have seen, exploding in that backfield. He gets hurt and then Frank Gore takes over and just starts doing work. So I think Singletary is kind of back to square one. He's back to route one where he's going to have to work his way into the timeshare again, become acquainted with the NFL speed again, coming off the injury. I'm glad he took enough time. He took a couple weeks off, got the bye week, so he should be completely healthy, ready to go. I hope you've been stashing him because, again, they get that ridiculously good schedule going forward. But I think, he's going to get back in there, probably get like 30% of the snaps in his first game back, maybe 35, 40, and it's going to be a slow progression back up again. So what I think the injury did is really just knock him down a little bit in terms of snap counts and just his play time again. So it's unfortunate, but, by fantasy playoffs, he might be the guy back there. So Devin Single God. I don't know, man. What you not know about Richard Wang? Let me get a couple more messages. Inbox, where art thou? I am BitSource. What? Let's see. Someone said badge first. Gotta get your typing skills up, boy. Is Miles Sanders and Mike Evans worth Julio half PPR? I personally big troll. I personally would make that move. I don't know what kind of consistency we're going to get out of Jameis Winston week over week. And throwing Godwin into the mix has been terrible for Evans's fantasy outlook for the most part. He's giving you like those 0 weeks. Miles Sanders, he's never going to get the running workload right now. It seems like they just love to give the ball to Howard. I know he had his little receiving breakout last week, but like, how many weeks are you really going to be able to depend on that? So give me Julio here, because Matt Ryan is just going to throw the ball 8,000 times this year. And some of those deep balls are going to start going Julio's way. So I think you get someone that's more consistent, obviously, at the wide receiver position with Julio over Mike Evans. And, if you're really desperate at running back, then maybe you hold and keep Miles Sanders. But I'm definitely not opposed to that trade. All right, y'all. That's all we got for y'all today. Make sure you text BDGE to 646-859-6340. I will be answering other text message questions, sit starts, waiver wires, whatever trade questions throughout the week on these other videos that I post on YouTube. Go check out the vlog that I put out this morning. Some of y'all take some actionable information away from it, I think. Get y'all into shape. Get y'all ready to eat. Hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I will see y'all on Twitch tomorrow. I'll stream with Noah for our trade targets video. Twitch.tv/BigDogsFantasy. I love you. Goodbye.